Good day, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of New Earth TV Live. It's good to be with all of you once again here this week. And before we get started with our webcast today, I just want to invite you right now just to take a moment with me. Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And what was that moment? That was the moment. It's important for us just to take that moment whenever we can and just looking within ourselves, going to the source, going to the absolute, going to the self, and just taking that moment. And that brings about absorption, that brings about refreshment, that brings about release. And so it's very, very good if you can just take that moment out of your day, regardless of how busy you are, regardless of what's going on in your life, regardless of whatever's happening in the world, just to take that moment. So thank you for sharing that with me. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started with New Earth TV Live. And of course, we're going to just get started with some announcements. So here we go. Beautiful, sacred geometrical clothing, apparel, and accessories imbued with spirit source energy to heal, rejuvenate, detoxify, and strengthen the body. Shop now at healingcodeshop.com.
The latest revelation in alternative healing has arrived. The Healing Code Cards, a spiritual technology unlike anything else. Through the power of sacred geometry imbued with pure source energy, physical ailments can become eliminated and detoxified from your body. 36 cards specifically designed to work on the major areas of the body, encouraging natural recovery and increased vitality. Working with the cards are easy, and their healing results are profound. Download our collection of free sample cards so you can experience results for yourself. And don't forget to view our customer testimonials. Our printed Healing Code card deck is available now with shipping available worldwide. Visit our website at healingcodecards.com.
Okay, so again, the special edition of the Healing Code cards is still available. We're still doing some pre-orders here. I was getting some updates in regards to the shipment. The shipment is on its way. It's basically at a dock right now in Los Angeles. It's going through a queue right now regarding UPS, right? So that's going to be hopefully done here in the next few days, and then it'll be heading to my location. And for all those who have already purchased the special edition pre-order, I'll be keeping you updated with emails as the updates arrive. So hopefully we're not waiting too much longer. There have been some delays because of the COVID situation, unfortunately, but it shouldn't take too much longer. Hopefully the next few days it will be arriving, and I'll be updating everybody who has already pre-ordered. If not, you can pre-order now, and when you pre-order, you get a free digital version of the Body Deck Special Edition. I'm also currently creating the Energy Deck right now, the Healing Code Cards Energy Deck. I'm hoping to get that released by October, the digital version, and then hoping to get the printed version of the Energy Deck out by the new year. So that's the intention right now. So I'll keep you guys informed about how that goes. And of course, private sessions with Adronis are still available up until August 31st. The same goes with Akashic Record readings as well too. Okay, so that again is available to August 31st. 15-minute, 30-minute, 45, and 60-minute sessions are available. Actually, I should say I'm actually sold out with the Akashic Record sessions. They're all booked up until August 31st, but you can still get Akashic Record readings through private sessions even through 3-question email sessions as well too. If you have a question about an Akashic record topic in the 3-question email readings, you can also get it through that as well too. So there's lots available. And of course, the EQ method is available, and I am so happy of how the EQ method is working with the many people that I've already worked with. They have just feeling their lives completely shift. They're seeing themselves just move into such a beautiful space after doing the EQ method. So out of all the sessions I recommend, it is definitely the EQ method. It has really transformed. It's nothing like the previous version. It's very different. And this is what I've been doing myself just these last couple weeks, is just working with the EQ method and doing a lot of clearing, doing a lot of absorption of the self. And that has been absolutely profound. So again, check it out, newearthteachings.com. And finally, Adronis final transmission. Okay, so this is going to be taking place on Saturday, August 28th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. It is a free webinar. Okay, so you can go onto Zoom. I forgot to take out that Zoom tomorrow thing. It's actually available right now on the website. Or is it? No, wait, I think I have to put it up. I have not put it up yet. Okay, it'll be up later today, Adronis final transmission. But again, if you want to register today, I got brain farts this morning. If you want to register for this event, just go to the video description of this New Earth TV Live, and you'll find the link there, and you can sign up for free. All right, and I will have this up this afternoon on newearthteachings.com, the poster. And I'm looking forward to this. So those who do want to ask questions to Adronis, it's going to be through Zoom. All right. So if you do have questions for Adronis, all attendees who want to ask him questions would go through Zoom. But this will also be broadcast on YouTube as well too for free, the final transmission. So Adronis is going to give his last words. He's going to give any other final information that he feels is good for us. And then we'll have a Q&A. So it'll be about a 2-hour long event. So I'm looking forward to that final transmission, August 28th. Okay, so, and Big D AG, thank you very much for your contribution. I really appreciate that. That's great. So what we're going to do firstly, everybody, is we're going to do some chakra clearing first. Then we're going to go into some healing requests. Okay, if you guys have any healing requests either for yourself or for somebody else, you can feel free to post that on the YouTube super chat here. All right. And then afterwards, we'll be going into some Q&A. So if you guys do have any questions for Adronis or for myself, completely fine. You can feel free to place it in the chat here. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with some chakra clearing. All right. Just as we've done before in the previous weeks. Hope you guys enjoyed the final empathic interfacing live that happened last week. Had some really great information coming through. And of course, Raya coming through with her language of light. It's always so beautiful to experience that, even when I'm just doing it. A simple guy, right, doing all that work, but it was wonderful. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. You can check out the recording of last week's Empathic Interfacing Live on my YouTube channel. Okay, so let's get ourselves nice and relaxed, nice and comfortable, keeping the spine erect. And we're going to start off firstly with the gonads, with the genitals, right, working with the testes and the ovaries. Okay, and we can see the red ray within our mind. And I'll just take off my headset here, because we are going to be plugging the ears. Okay, so let's take a deep breath in. When we do a deep breath, we're going to focus on the Om, but we're focusing more on the sound, right? We're vibrating that energy into the gonad region. Okay, and you can see the color red if you want, or you can focus on the gonads, whichever you prefer. Okay, deep breath in. Okay, moving up now into the sacral chakra, which is also connected to the areas of the gonads. Basically, we're focusing on the Leydig and Hylar cells, which is, again, the tissues within the testes and ovaries. Leydig for males, Hylar for females. Okay, seeing the orange ray. Taking a deep breath in. Okay, moving up now to the solar plexus chakra. Taking a deep breath in, we're going to focus on the yellow ray, or again, the adrenals. Okay, it's connected to the adrenals, or again, focusing on the yellow ray. Taking a deep breath in. Okay, moving up now to the heart chakra. Okay, specifically connecting to the thymus gland. Seeing the color green within your mind, taking a deep breath in. Okay, moving up now to the throat chakra, connected to the thyroid gland. So again, ice blue or aqua color. Deep breath in. Moving on now to the third eye chakra. Okay, connected to the pineal gland, seeing ocean blue color. Taking a deep breath in. All right, moving now to the crown chakra, though not focusing on the top of the head, rather focusing on the pituitary gland. Okay, colored violet. Taking a deep breath in. All right, deep breath in, deep breath out. Taking this moment now, giving thanks, giving love to your energy, to the body, to all that is, to creation, to the self. And so it is. Namaste. All right. So there's a reason why we don't focus on the top of the head, the crown chakra, because this is not actually a chakra. This is more of a gateway, right? When you're actually going into working with the self, you're noticing that this is actually the absorption center. This is the absorption center to where all consciousness comes into the body and basically purifies, radiates, illumines, shines the body with that. So the crown chakra here, or I would call it the crown chakra, but the crown gateway, rather, would represent that absorption center. That is the absorption gateway to the body. So that's why we don't really focus on this area here as the seventh chakra. Okay. In Indian traditions, there's actually only 6 chakras, right? I'm basically using the Edgar Cayce format because he's talked about the 7 chakras connected through glands, right? So I use that through the practice, but it's completely fine with whatever tradition you want to use. I'm actually also using the 6 chakra tradition through what Vedic science has been able to share also about the 6 chakras in the spine, right? My good friend Forrest Knudsen talks about the 6 chakras as well too, right? If you're not familiar with Forrest's channel, you can look up his name on YouTube. It's Forrest Knudsen. It's Knutson. He is probably one of the best teachers on YouTube, period, right? His information is profound. He is excellent. I've had him on the broadcast before, doing an interview with him. So I would certainly check out his channel. Okay, his teachings are phenomenal, all right? And I would say out of any teacher on YouTube, he would by far be one of the best, all right? So check him out if you haven't checked him out already, all right? I'm learning a lot from him as well, too. I'm talking to him. I've actually signed up to his Patreon. Him and I are kind of exchanging information back and forth. So we're having a good conversations. Very positive guy, very wonderful. You just look at the guy and you can tell he's just a clean soul, right? So, again, I highly recommend his channel if you haven't checked him out already. All right, let me put the headphones back on. Okay, so guys, we're now going to go ahead and take any requests that you guys have in regards to healing. If you have a healing request for yourself, or if you have a healing request for another, you can feel free to put that down on the chat. All right. Okay, here's one here from Paige. Actually, sorry, let me just go back to Armin first. Armin just has a contribution first, and I'll get to Paige secondly. Armin says, healing vibes for my cat Saturn, who took on psychic attacks, so that me and my partner would be safe. Blessings to your cat Saturn. I love the name too, so that's good. Okay, Armin, certainly. Yes, we will work with your cat Saturn. All right. So, Armin, what I want you to do right now is just take a moment, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. Okay. And you can close your eyes. You can place your hands on the center of your chest if you wish. And as your eyes are closed, I want you just to create an image of Saturn. It doesn't matter if he's in the room with you or not right now. Right? I just want you to create the hologram, the holographic image of your cat Saturn. All right? And he's just laying down on a couch or he's laying down on a bed. It doesn't matter, just as long as you're seeing him within your mind. Okay? And I want you now just to place either your right or your left hand upon your cat. Okay? And I want you just to tune in to him. Just to tune into his energy right now. Okay? Just getting an impression about how he's feeling. All right? So you're just tuning into that right now. You're being aware about how he's feeling. Okay, and I want you just to be aware of his body. As you're aware of his body, I want you just to imagine how Saturn would look as if he was refined, as he was completely rejuvenated, as he was revitalized. Okay? And I want you just to impose that image of Saturn's body, this new body of Saturn, okay? That's coming upon you. You're just imposing that energy upon him, okay? So I want you just to take that moment now and just feel this other body overlaying his, okay? And you're just feeling him now. It's like his spirit, his essence is just moving into that new body. All right? So I want you now just to feel this thought energy, this thought bubble that you're putting in between your hands. And you're just making it larger and larger and larger. And what you're putting in this thought bubble is how you see Saturn as a potential, as an ideal. What does his ideal body look like? How is his personality? Everything that represents that idealism of Saturn. Okay, just through this body that you have overlaid upon him, you are basically just putting this ideal in front of him. Okay, and you're just widening that thought bubble, saying, yes, my cat is so healthy, he's well, he's happy, he's energetic, he has so much pure vitality flowing through him, his body looks amazing, right? And you're feeling as if this is happening right now, right? That this is already happening. Okay, and as you have that thought bubble right now, just turn that into a sphere. I just want you to put that into the new body, the new overlaid body of Saturn there, okay? And I want you just to hold that thought as I will now connect to Spirit. I command God, Spirit, Light to apply Armin's command for Saturn. Apply. Okay, so the potential, the ideal for Saturn's new body, for that energy, is there, is presented to him. Okay, so now it's up to him, for him to move into that body. And again, just give that graciousness and that love to your animal best friend, to your animal family member. And again, thank him so much for all the work he's doing for you and your partner. All right, thank you, Armin, for your request. It's beautiful. Okay, let's go to Paige now. Paige says, hi Brad, my friend Chris is in the hospital with pneumonia and very ill, labeled as COVID. I've tried to get meds to her, but they won't let me in. I'm requesting healing for her recovery. Bless your heart. Okay, thank you, Paige. So again, Paige, just like Armin, you're going to be the mediator. You're going to be the bridge in between, okay? So Paige, right now, take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay, keeping the spine erect. Okay, you can place your hands upon the center of your chest if you like. You can close your eyes. And right now, I just want you to see your friend Chris. Okay, lying down on a bed. Does not have to be a hospital bed, okay? It can be a couch, it can be a sofa, it can be a bed, anything of that nature. Okay, what matters is that you're just seeing Chris here. All right? So I want you now to go up to her. You're going up to Chris, and again, you're placing your hands upon the center of her chest, and you're just feeling the discord. You're feeling the conflict within herself. Okay? As you're tuning into her right now, you're seeing this brand new body of hers. Okay? It's like it's just hovering above her current body. All right? And it's only about maybe a foot in between her current body and again, here is this new body. All right? Now I want you just to put all of your feelings through this thought ball. Okay? So you're creating this thought energy ball here. You're putting all of your feelings of health, of wellness, of radiance that you feel Chris can become. Okay? This is what's known as a potential body or an ideal body. All right? So that's what you're doing. So what you're seeing is you're seeing this body automatically tethering itself directly to her heart. Okay? The new body of Chris's heart is tethering directly to the current body. All right? That heart tether is there between the two hearts. All right? And I want you just to really go in here. Okay? I want you to really open up your heart channel, open up your feelings, open up your emotions. And I want you just to widen this ball as you're putting all of this goodness into this potential ideal. All right? You're seeing Chris completely recovered. You're seeing her being so much more vitalized, radiant, healthy, and well. And I really want you to put your feelings into this, okay? Really saying, this is already happening for her. This is already taking place. She's already in this new body. She's already present with this new body. And you're feeling that wellness. You see her smiling. You see her happy. You feel everything that represents the conflict of her body completely dissolved. Put your feelings into it. Put your feelings into it. Put your feelings into it. Widen the ball. Widen the ball. Widen the ball. Okay? And you're seeing her in this new potential body. Right? And your emotions are so strong. Your feelings are so great. Your intention is so powerful. You're just holding that thought ball, okay? And you're just compressing it into that ball. And I want you to feel like you're putting that ball into this new potential body, all right? See yourself putting it in and feel like a golden light is just radiating that new potential body for her, okay? And I want you just to hold that there as I now connect with Spirit. I command God's Spirit light to apply Paige's command for her friend Chris. Apply. Okay, deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, so Paige, continue to hold that intention for your friend Chris. Okay, of course, it's up to her to move into that potential herself, but you're giving this really strong nature of influence. You're giving this really strong nature of suggestion to her. All right, so continue to hold that and hope she is well and hope you are well too. All right, thank you. Okay, let's go down the list here a bit more. Okay, this one is from Charles. Charles says, my Aunt Pauline is on life support in intensive care. Please send healing. I'm in gratitude for your healing. Okay, so Charles, we're just going to do the same thing as we did for Paige and Chris, all right, and for Armin and Saturn. So Charles, you're going to be the medium. You're going to be the bridge, okay? So, again, Charles, take a deep breath in. Deep breath out, keeping your spine erect, all right, placing your hands upon the center of your chest. And again, I want you to see your Aunt Pauline now as you close your eyes. Okay, you're seeing her body, laying on a couch, laying on a sofa, laying on a bed, whichever you prefer. And I want you to approach her right now, and you're just placing her hand on top of her chest, okay, just up around here. And I want you just to take in all that she is feeling, all right? We're not attaching to it. We're just being observant to what she is experiencing, okay? And now I want you to see just about a foot above her, a foot above the current body. You're seeing again the potential body, okay? You're seeing the potential body above her. And now you're taking that thought bubble, that thought ball, and you're putting your sincere feelings, your sincere happiness, your sincere emotions. And if anybody of here right now who wants to join in, as his aunt is in critical care, okay, who wants to put their love into this thought ball right now, their intentions, their happiness, their radiance into that thought ball, you are more than welcome to. Okay? I too am doing this now. Okay? So again, Charles, just see that ball expanding. Okay? Filling it with pure goodness, right? Feeling your aunt completely recovered. Seeing her smiling face. Seeing her get up and feeling completely refreshed, completely rejuvenated, happy to take those breaths again. All right? So I want you just to feel that ball expand, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And again, everybody who wants to join in can join in as well too. And you're just putting your thought intentions, your good feelings, your happiness into this ball, seeing the potential of what Charles and Pauline can now be in alignment with. All right? You're seeing this as if it's already happening. Okay, we're now going to compress that ball. And Charles, I just want you to put that into your Aunt Pauline's heart. Okay? And now you're seeing that golden surge of energy just flowing through the body. And I want you just to hold that there, Charles. Okay? I command God's Spirit Light to apply Charles's command for his Aunt Pauline. Apply. Okay, deep breath in, deep breath out. All right. Very good. Thank you, Charles. Hope she is well. Okay, continue to send that love and that support. Again, just seeing this as if it's already happened. Okay. All right. We're going to go down to Luna here. We're going to take 2 more healing requests here, guys. Bumpy Moon asked, how do you spell forest? It's Forrest. Okay. And last name, Knutson, Knutson. You can actually find an interview I did with him on my YouTube channel as well, too, if you want to check that out. Okay, so this is for Luna now. Luna says, healing for my son Ivan, who suffers greatly from crippling rheumatoid arthritis. All right, certainly. All right, so Luna, just getting yourself nice and relaxed now. Take a deep breath in and out. Keeping your spine erect. Placing your hands upon the center of your chest, closing your eyes. Okay, and I want you now just to look at your son Ivan. Okay, either on a couch or a bed. And you're just approaching him now, and you're placing your hand at the top of his chest. And I want you just to take in everything that he is feeling right now. Okay? Take it all in. Not trying to change or alter anything, just accepting what you feel. Okay, and now I want you to see that potential body, 1 foot above the current body. Okay, that potential body is his new, refreshed body. All right, so again, as you're doing that, I want you just to feel your hands, grabbing that thought ball, and just putting your sincere feelings, your sincere emotions, your sincere happiness directly into that ball. All right, how are you feeling with him now? How does he feel? How is his rejuvenation feeling to you? Is he smiling? Is he laughing? Does he feel energized? Does he feel radiant? Right? Put all of that in there. Right? So you're seeing this potential body for Ivan. All right? And it's the more that you put your feelings into this, the more that you put your emotions into this, the greater that this is going to have an effect. Okay? If you're just kind of looking at this idly, no, that's not a lot of potency. Right? Put your feelings into it. Put your heart into it. And again, everybody that's watching this, you can also put your feelings and your emotions in support together for Ivan. Okay. So here for Luna, for her son. Okay, and you're expanding that bubble, making it bigger and bigger and bigger. And just see his smiling face, his happiness. He feels so refreshed. His body feels completely refreshed and rejuvenated. He feels amazing. All right. You want to reflect that in the thought ball. Okay. As if it's already happening right now. Okay, now we're going to compress that ball. We're going to put that in the chest of his new potential body. Okay, and as you're putting it into his chest, into his heart, you're feeling that golden stream of energy, that golden surge flowing through his body. Okay, and just hold that thought. I command God's spirit light to apply Luna's command for her son Ivan. Apply. Okay, deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, and continue to hold that thought, continue to hold that intention for Ivan. All right, thank you, Luna. Oh, Armin got an update here. Thank you. She responded as we went through the process by meows for Saturn. Great. That's great. Your feelings are telling the story. Like I said, guys, 99.9% of the healing work coming through is through you. All right. I'm just being a little facilitator here in the background, and Spirit is doing the work. All right. The 0.1%. All right. So great. That's great news to hear. All right. We're going to take one more healing request, and we're going to go into questions. So if you guys do have questions for myself or for Adronis, you can feel free to place it in the chat. This will be our last healing request. This last healing request is for Mary. Mary says, hello, please send healing to my sister, Michelle, who has a rare lung condition doctor says can't be cured. Don't listen to the Western doctors, all right? If they really work together with consciousness, they will realize that nothing is incurable. And here's something for you guys to remember. There is no such thing as an incurable illness, okay? No such thing. With Western science, with what they do with their logic and their procedures and all that stuff, absolutely, they have a lot of limitations. A lot of things are impossible for them because this is as far as they're willing to take themselves. They don't want to go all the way out here. They want to stay right here, all right? And all respect to doctors because they feel that this is generally what they feel they want to do. They want to generally help people, but they're not educating themselves enough about consciousness, right? You got to bring consciousness and science together as one. That's when you have the whole picture. Right? So don't listen to that. There is no such thing as an uncurable illness. All right. Okay. So, Mary, yes, let's work with Michelle. All right. So, taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, keeping your spine erect. You can place your hands on the center of your chest, closing your eyes. Okay. I want you to see your friend, right? Your sister, your sister Michelle, okay, on a couch or a sofa. Okay, and I want you just to approach her now, placing your hand at the top of her chest. And I want you just to tap into her, just to feel what she's feeling, all right? Just getting that feeling, not trying to change or alter anything, but just witnessing what she is experiencing. Okay, and 1 foot above her current body is the potential body. Okay, there's a reason why we call it a potential body. It's something that, again, that has a lot of momentum behind it, that has a lot of surge, that has a lot of potential and an ideal, but they have to move into it themselves. But they'll get this feeling. They'll just get this feeling to start encompassing this body that you are assisting in its creation with. All right? It's a beautiful thing. And I'll talk more about it shortly as well. Okay? So, again, with Mary, right? I just want you to feel that thought ball right here. Again, put all of your feelings, all of your emotions, all of your intentions, and seeing all of this happen now. Seeing her in this refreshed body. Her lungs are completely clean. Her organs are completely clean. It feels like she's going into a younger body. The lungs, the liver, the kidneys, all of the organs, the bodily systems, the musculoskeletal system, everything is in prime condition. All right? You're feeling her happiness. You're feeling her rejuvenating. You're feeling her waking up, and she's so excited. She's so happy. She's so thrilled. She feels radiant. This vitality flowing through her is incredible. It's youthful. It's beautiful. It's perfect. All right? So you're putting that into the thought ball. And everybody else who wants to give their support for Mary here, please feel free. Okay. I want you just to keep expanding that bubble. All right. Okay. And you're just seeing Michelle feeling that pure love, that pure happiness, that pure rejuvenation, and you're seeing this happening now. It's already happening. All right. Now we're going to compress that ball. We're going to put that into Michelle's body, okay, into her heart. You're going to feel that golden surge, that golden streaming of energy of this thought ball going into her. Now I want you just to hold that thought there. I command God's Spirit Light to apply Mary's command for her sister Michelle. Apply. Okay, deep breath in, deep breath out. All right. Thank you very much, Mary. Right, continue to work with Michelle on that, holding that potential body for her. All right. So again, guys, this is the potential body. This is the realignment method as well, too. But what you're doing is when you're working with somebody else, because here's one of the big questions I get. Brad, what can I do for a person who's going through a lot of pain, who's going through a lot of hurt in their life? I may not be able to reach them personally. I may just be able to see them from afar, right? Maybe just have a phone call with them or a Skype call or something. What can I do to assist them? Well, this is what you're doing, all right? You are seeing them in their potential. I'm going to do a video on this, all right? You're seeing them as their potential body. This goes back even to indigenous traditions as well, too. The best healing technique you can ever do for somebody else is seeing them in a humility, in a new potential body, okay? You are manufacturing a holographic body pertaining to that person, and you are creating this ideal, all right? You are seeing in that sense through practicality how they're able to move from where they currently are here, right? Let's say if they're very depressed, to what the potential body is. Healed depression. The depression is now absent. That's all we're seeing it as. It is the absence of the depression, if that's what they're going through, okay? It is the absence of the illness. It is the absence of the emotion. That's the potential body. So, this is what the realignment method does when you're working with somebody else, okay? When you're working with yourself, I guide you through it, okay? And I'm able to work with you one-to-one, right? We also do that before we do the EQ method, right? The realignment method is first, and then we go into the EQ method, all right? So what you're doing is you're just creating that potential body. You're seeing them happy. You're seeing them completely absent of whatever that emotional, mental, or physical condition is. And you're seeing that just as a practicality. They're smiling. What's their behavior like, right? How are they reacting to this? What does their body feel like? How are they presenting themselves, right? That's like what you're putting in the thought ball. But you're putting that intention forward, and you're seeing it as if it's already happening, right? And when you're already seeing it happen, just give yourself that trigger and saying, this is their body. This is their potential body. Now, what we are not doing is we're not trying to force them into that body. That will not work. You cannot use force. Force is ignorance, right? We're not using force to try and bring them into this potential ideal body that we have manifested here, okay? This is a suggestion. This is a potentiality. This is an ideal. So let's say, for example, here, Joe here has his mother, and his mother is just very angry and very depressed, okay? So he creates this new body, this potential body for his mother. And he's putting all of his feelings, all of his emotions, all of his intentions towards seeing the absence of her anger and the absence of her depression. Okay? That's all we're doing for a potential body. We bring absence into the key, into the potential here. So there is an absence of the anger. There is an absence of the depression. If she has a physical condition, a physical problem with her shoulders, for example, we're now seeing that body in absence of that shoulder problem, of that shoulder pain. Now, you see your mother in that new body, and you're reacting to how she's reacting, right? She's smiling. Says, I don't know what happened. My shoulders feel good. I don't feel depressed anymore. I don't feel angry anymore. I feel so great, right? And you feel that. You're enacting out that situation, and you're putting all of that potential into that body, and it's just saying, let it be done, right? And now that body is there for her. And it is through all of your emotions, all of your energy that you're putting in, that you're tethering to her heart, right? So there's a tether of the potential body in the heart, and it's tethering together with the current body, right? And now it's up to her to basically feel like the sandwiching of the potential body coming directly into her. Now, basically what the other person feels is just this drive, this ambition to go into a type of healing, right? They just accept it. It feels very light. It feels very warm. It feels very welcoming. They're not able to see this potential body. It's like a ghost. But just what happens over the short amount of time, if they accept this potential body, They're going through these immense changes. They're noticing that their shoulders are now feeling a lot better, and they can't explain it because now they're just basically having laughing fits. They're feeling so happy. They're feeling so joyful. It's like an angel came and visited them, right? That is the idea of this kind of phantom-like effect of the potential body fusing together with the current body, right? So this is what we can do. This is the technique. This is the realignment method, right? We're fusing that body together with our loved one as a potential, okay? But we're not pushing them in and say, come on, you got to go in this potential body. No, that will not work if you try to do that. Just create the potential, tether it to their heart. The rest is up to them, okay? Have faith in whatever they decide to do. Remember, you love a person no matter what, regardless of what they're going through. But this is a potential body that you can create for them, because that's the greatest act of gift. That's the greatest act of giving that you want to present to them. So make it happen, okay? Thank you, everybody. We're going to go ahead now and move on into Q&A. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Again, thank you for your requests for healing. Okay, Landy, sorry, I didn't get your $5. I just saw it now here. So Landy says, I think I'll do one more. I'll do one more healing before we go into Q&A here, since Landy paid for a contribution here. I suffered from a neurotoxic fish poison a few years ago, currently having a flare-up. I feel all over body itching, would love some relief and healing. Certainly. Okay. So Landy, thank you. So Landy, what I want you to do right now is I want you just to be aware of your body as it is right now. Okay, not trying to change anything. You can place your hands upon the center of your chest if you want, but just taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Okay, just accepting your body as it is, not trying to change or alter anything. All right. And now I want you to imagine like you are stepping out of that current body. Okay? You're stepping out of that current body and you're moving into this new physical body. And this new physical body, again, is your potential body. So like I said, you have to make the choice. You have to make the decision to go into this new body. Now, you're having the thought ball here. Now I want you to put all of your feelings into it. What does this new potential body feel like that is completely absent of the neurotoxic fish poison? Okay? So I want you just to really vividly experience this new body of yours. Okay? You're stepping out of your current body. It's like a snake that shed its skin. Okay? It's old skin here. Doesn't matter anymore. You're now in the astral. You're in your dream body. And you're looking at this new physical body that you personally are appropriating. What does my body feel like now that it is completely free of the fish poison? How does it feel that I no longer have to itch the body? That I no longer have any flare-ups? How does it feel? And I want you just to put that through your feelings right now, okay? And you're just expanding that ball. So I want you just to take a minute now and just feel that love, that feeling. What would it feel like as if it's happening right now, being in this new current body, okay? So just take a minute and doing that now. Okay, Landy, so now as you have expanded that bubble, right, you're feeling yourself in that body right now, right, happy, rejuvenated, overjoyed, completely absent of that neurotoxic condition, okay? And now you're compressing that ball and you're putting it into this new body as you feel yourself going into this new body right now. And I want you just to hold that intention, hold that thought, okay? I command God's Spirit Light to apply Landy's command to her. Apply. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, Landy, so just maintaining that feeling. You are in this new body. You are refreshed. You are rejuvenated. All right? Let me know how you're feeling over the next little while. All right? Thank you so much. Okay. Now we're going to go into Q&A, guys. So again, thank you, everybody, for your healing request. I appreciate it. Okay, here's one from Jana here. Jana. Hi, Brad. Question for you or Adronis. Is presence of gratitude more powerful or equal to a quiet mind? Thank you. All right. Well, we have to understand what gratitude truly is. What is gratitude? Gratitude is happiness. Is really all it is. We can say that I'm grateful. We can say that I'm appreciative, right? But really what you're saying is I am happy, okay? Now, if I'm basically holding up a water bottle here, all right, and I feel like this water bottle is making me happy. No, it's not. Because consciousness is, again, what brings about the appearance of everything within our reality. Everything's consciousness, right? This water bottle, right, is the appearance of consciousness. This body I have is the appearance of consciousness. This backdrop I have here is the appearance of consciousness, right? When I'm looking into happiness itself, I'm looking into pure consciousness, right? So the whole idea of the presence of happiness is that an object is not going to make you happy, okay? A person is not going to make you happy. You are eternally happy. You are that source of happiness, just as I talk about with the EQ method, right? Where you're tapping into that source of permanent happiness, right? So when you see an object, as it were, that you pick up and you feel it's happy, it's making you happy, right? It's not making you happy. What it is that you're shining your happiness upon that object, okay? It's self-shining. So your nature of happiness is self-shining. When you see a loved one you haven't seen in years and you're just overjoyed to see them, right? It's not that loved one that's making you happy. It's your happiness being shined. It's shining upon that, again, appearance of a loved one coming to you, right? So this is the nature of happiness itself. Happiness is an inside feeling, right? It is the nature of who you are. It is your source, right? Happiness truly is that perfection. And we get small bouts of happiness here and there, right? We wander through a garden and we enjoy the smells and it brings that happiness out. But again, what's happening is it's the happiness that's drawing you to that. It's the happiness that's bringing about these wonderful feelings that you have. Happiness is the prime, right? It is the priority above everything else. It is the absolute. And then so again, as we draw through Maya, or through physical reality here, right? Consciousness, again, brings about appearances. So we have an appearance of a beautiful garden. We have the appearance of a refreshing water bottle with good water in it. We have an appearance of a loved one running up to us and making us feel so happy, right? But that happiness is through ourselves. It's the shining of that happiness, right? So when you understand this, again, you can call it gratitude, right? To bringing about a powerful or quiet mind. Well, you want to completely immerse yourself in eternal happiness. You want to completely immerse yourself in the source where that happiness is. This is, again, what I teach you in the EQ method. Because a lot of people don't get it, right? When I was doing the EQ method video, the trailer, the promo video that I did, I had one person commenting and saying, "Oh, I don't want to feel happy. I don't feel like being happy." Right? That happens because, again, a lot of people are just into a state of suffering, right? So basically I would say that's not true. You absolutely want happiness, but you don't feel that you can obtain it. You feel, again, that you are just completely smothered by this illusion of suffering, okay? Suffering is volunteer work, everybody, okay? You can absolutely live this life without suffering one single bit. Now, again, I'd already have 1,000 people say, "Oh, no, you can't. You have to go through suffering. You have to go through suffering. You have to do all this. You have to go through that." It's true. It does make you a stronger person. It does make you stronger when you're going through suffering, right? It purifies you. It certainly does. However, How much suffering you take on, or how little suffering you take on, is entirely up to you. It is a voluntary job. It's a voluntary act, I should say. Because when you understand where the source of happiness comes from, you embody it all the time. You don't want to leave that. If you are feeling this pure, permanent happiness all the time, why would you consider leaving that? Right? This is because, again, we're only just getting these little tiny specks where we feel bouts of happiness, again, coming through us, because we have to understand that our entire nature is like a sphere with Swiss cheese holes in it. Okay? It's like a Swiss cheese sphere. And we get these little tiny holes that open up every now and then that, again, is creating this bout of happiness, right? Seeing a loved one, again, going out into a garden, having a beautiful meal, being with a romantic partner in that sense, right? These little Swiss cheese holes that are, again, these temporary experiences where you feel so much happiness, right? What if I told you you can take that Swiss cheese veil out of the picture altogether and now just be in permanent happiness all the time? Okay? In order for you to do that, you have to know what permanent happiness is. You have to feel that for yourself, right? It really is quite simple, but where people have a hard time is they're trying to grasp how this is done. How do I do that, Brad? How do I get that in there? Well, this is what I take you through the EQ method, right? It's taking you through it, okay? Self-inquiry takes you through that as well, too. The EQ method is the Western version for the layman of self-inquiry, okay? It's a simpler method, right? Self-inquiry is great, right? But a lot of people get confused by it and think, okay, what about the I thought and who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I don't quite get it. I don't quite understand, right? There's a lot of people that are overly confused by it. This is why there's only a few people that actually work with self-inquiry that get results, okay? I've scoured the internet. I've looked at a lot of people. So many people don't get self-inquiry, right? This is why I've created the EQ method, okay? It's a Western mind version. It's a simplistic version, okay? And it's taking you through the process about how you're stripping everything away, and then you come to that happiness. Then you come to the absolute. This is why when people have taken the EQ method, they walk out new people. They've stripped themselves completely away. And again, that's the power of the EQ method. I've simplified it because I look into the hard stuff. This is what I've always done for the past 13 years. I look into the difficult stuff. I look into all the hard stuff, right? A lot of the esoteric stuff that people really don't understand. I finally click in because sometimes I don't get it right away. I have to look a little bit deeper. Okay, I get what they're doing. So what I'm doing is I'm stripping away all the ritual. I'm stripping away all the traditions. I'm stripping away all the gunk. And now here's the pearl. It's like you're opening up the clam, and here's the pearl. Great. All I want is the pearl. And now I take that pearl, and I transform it into something better, right? And now I make it into something that's very, very simple. By better, I just say simple, right? Making it very simple that you don't have to do all these traditions. You don't have to do all these rituals. You don't have to be initiated in this way, right? All of that stuff is thrown away. And it's just looking at that juicy pearl, okay? And that's what I've done with the EQ method, okay? When it comes to self-inquiry, when it comes to self-abidance, when it comes to self-absorption. There are, again, masters, particular masters throughout history who have done this. They've looked into the entire tapestry of different teachings, different philosophies, different practices, and they've stripped away the inessentials, and they just stay with the core, right? So that's what I do with the EQ method, okay? It's very, very simple. This is why I suggest everybody take advantage of it, because it is probably the most profound. It's the ultimate technique, right? Once you grasp this, your life will change. Your conflicts will be gone, and you will witness your conflicts being erased as you do the EQ method, right? I can guarantee that, right? I've had people from all walks of life. I've had quite a few people coming in, just different places. You know, I'm skeptical. I don't know about this, right? I've kind of a practicality, scientific background, or people who, again, who are, kind of in the new age, or again, spiritual journeys. They all feel the same results because I just keep it very simple. I don't care what your background is. You could be an atheistic scientist and benefit from the EQ method, okay? You could be, again, so happy on a spiritual journey, spiritually advanced, and then, again, receiving the EQ method. And even more happier. So give it a try. Okay? Not that I'm trying to self-promote it, but I'm promoting it because it works. Okay? If it was something that was complete and total bullshit, I wouldn't even be promoting it. It works because this is what I'm doing on myself. Maybe you guys have noticed how happy I am when I'm coming on here, right? That's because I've stripped so much away, right? The previous techniques I've done, like the first version of the EQ method and the clarity technique and BCR technique, were powerful. They're great. They helped with about 90 to 95% of my clearing, which is great. And then when I did self-inquiry, the remainder, just like that, gone. So quick, right? Whereas the other methods took me quite a few months, right? Even to a couple of years. They work, but it took some time, right? Whereas this self-inquiry, once I got it, boom, right to the self, right to the absolute, right to happiness. So give it a shot. So Jana, that's the whole idea, is going into a quiet mind is through the nature of your happiness, is to being in the abidance of the self, is self-absorption, okay? That's how it's done. You cannot ask the mind to destroy the mind. Can't be done, okay? So what self-inquiry teaches you is you go to the root of the mind, you go to the I thought, right? And you just stay there. And that works. Self-inquiry, I'm not putting it down at all. It's perfect. It is the perfect form of nature for us. Just a lot of people don't understand it. Nothing with self-inquiry needs to be changed at all. It is perfect, right? But again, people just don't understand it. So this is why the EQ method is done, because self-inquiry and the EQ method go to the same place. They bring the same result. So it's just a simpler version of self-inquiry. Okay? Thank you, Jana, for your question. Let's go down here a bit more. AC says, can we hear more about our soul family? If there are aliens, where are they? World seems in a turmoil currently. That's great, right? It's great that the world is in turmoil. Brad, how can you say such a thing? Because this is what's bringing about change. This is the Great Awakening, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, you're walking through a tunnel and you're seeing all of this stuff being stripped away. We are vividly experiencing the ego collectively of the entire planet being stripped away. And for all of that to be stripped away, you're seeing all of the tragedy, you're seeing all the harshnesses, you're seeing all of the intensities of the world being stripped away before your eyes. Right? You're just seeing all of the deep bowels of the earth relating to all of this ego, relating to all of this ignorance, and people who have embodied that ego and embodied that ignorance being stripped away. So what do you do, Brad? What do I do in that situation? Well, if you involve yourself with that situation, it's like you standing before the tide, right? You're standing before this gigantic tidal wave, and you're going to get swept away with it, right? Because again, if you stay at the same level to where this fear is, that's what's going to happen to you, okay? What happens when you're up here? And here's the tide. Nothing happens, right? Here's fear. And you're up here. Can it touch you? No. That's again why I suggest the EQ method, guys. Okay? Getting yourself high. This is what Adronis was even talking about when he did the levels of contact video, right? Working with your chakra centers, getting messages, but also uplifting yourself. Lifting yourself a little bit higher so that the fear does not envelop you, because this is what's going to hit, right? It was just before COVID came out that video was done, right? About levels of contact, Adronis levels of contact, right? He knew that this was coming, and so helping to move yourself up through that little exercise that he did to work with the chakras to get messages and to move yourself higher up so you're not getting trampled over this fear wave that's coming. The fear wave is only there because everything is being dismantled. It is the snake shedding its skin, right? And it's an ugly thing. Yes, when a snake sheds its skin, it's not very pretty at all, right? It's pretty nasty. But nonetheless, when the snake sheds its skin and now slithers free, and there's that old, decrepit skin that's now breaking down and going back into the earth, that is exactly what's happening to the earth, right? This is what's called the splitting of worlds, right? Dolores Cannon has talked about it. Adronis has talked about it. Adronis has called it the splitting of worlds. He's been talking about this since like 2010, 2011, around there, probably even earlier, is about this physical split that's happening. But basically what's happening is a veil, a sheath, a skin is being peeled off the current earth. And it looks like it's another earth, but in actuality it's not. It's just a skin, it's just a sheath, and it will break down and it will recycle itself back into the energies, into the ethers, right? And then we're left with this one earth, right? And this is what's bringing about the upliftment. So we have to let this skin peel off. You cannot fight it. You cannot resist it. You can swear to the heavens all you want, saying, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Nothing's going to change, right? Because your thought is nowhere stronger than the idea of the one will, okay? That one divine will is all, okay? You trying to think that you're going to try and stop this change that's happening is like a person that's standing at the top of the mountain thinking that they're going to try and combust the earth with a single thought. It's not going to happen, okay? The divine will is, and you cannot oppose it. This is what's happening. You have to accept that this is what's taking place. So rather than staying on the ground and being encompassed by this storm and being swept over by this tidal wave, rise yourself up, right? Clear yourself out. Do not feel that you are looking for saviors, okay? You are not looking for your star family to come down with a ship, beam you up, and then take you out of here, okay? That is not what's happening. If anybody tries to even do that, then that is a very, very shady situation. You are here to be of the earth. You are tethered here. This is part of your agreement. This is what you volunteered here for, okay? And so the whole idea is to lift yourself up. Pick yourself up, let the storm pass, and be in your space. It does not matter what you feel is being taken away from you. You cannot take away who you really are, right? That's the important thing. And believe me, a lot of these things aren't going to be taken away. There's going to be a little bit of, like I said, uproar, and they're trying to do, certain events where they feel like they're trying to threaten people, but they don't really have the toys and the tools that they used to have. It's very limited. So again, we are seeing a much more watered down version of what was actually meant to happen. Because when you look at biblical times and you look at ancient indigenous proverbs as well too, there was supposed to be a non-hidden Third World War that was basically going to claim hundreds of millions of lives. That has not happened, right? We've averted that. That's the good news. So we have this watered down version. If it was this powerful at first, it's like this right now. When you guys tuned in to the Empathic Interfacing Live, when Athena was talking about that and saying, we have seen through many of your ages things like black plagues that have encompassed thousands or hundreds of thousands of people all over the planet over the centuries. Our ancestors have seen this. And it was horrifying to look at. I said, where you are right now, there's nothing like that, right? Yes, there's people suffering, and yes, there's been wars, but it's been nothing in regards to the travesties that have happened in your ancient times, because we were more so back into the points of early Dwapara Yuga and late Kali Yuga when that was happening. Now we're in late Dwapara Yuga, which in 2082 we move into Treta Yuga, right? So these are representing ages, right? If you're looking at Vedic ways, Vedic understandings, you have the 4 ages, right? You have Kali Yuga, you have Dwapara Yuga, which we're currently in, and we're near the end of it. And you have Treta Yuga, and you have Sat Yuga, right? So when we get to the end of Dwapara Yuga, which is 2082, about 50% of the world population will be moving much more into a higher degree of spiritual consciousness, okay? Right now, we're about a third of the way, give or take, around there. And then when we get into 2082, that's what brings it into about half the population moving into spiritual intelligence, moving into spiritual advancement. That's powerful. That's amazing to see, right? So here's the question, guys. If everybody feels like it's doom and gloom and it's the end for us, then why are we seeing something like that unfold? Why are we seeing that there's going to be more things when people look into themselves, when they look into astrology, when they look into numerology, when they look into all these different forms of divinations? Why is it saying that this is where humanity is going? We're going up. We're not going down here, okay? Only the people that stay in fear are going down here. When you move yourself into this greater nature of spiritual intelligence, when you are embodying who you really are as consciousness, you're going up, okay? You're not going down, and that's the key. Love needs to lead the way, okay? Thank you for your question. Okay, I'll go down the list here a bit more. Ava says, "Hi Brad, could you please discuss homeopathy? I'm really not versed in homeopathy. I've heard about it. Right, it's the idea about distilling, right? Distilling everything down to a certain degree, and I can't really say. I have never actually tried homeopathy. I have never tried to learn it in that way, but I'm aware of it, right? I'm familiar with its content. I have talked to people who are homeopathic, and they feel quite healthy, so it has worked for certain people. Some people say that homeopathy is basically more so of a placebo effect. I can't say. I've never tried homeopathy, right? So I really couldn't tell you, but it's really that nature of distilling everything, right? And for some people, it's really brought about a powerful healing effect. So it's going to be different for everybody. Some people are going to think it's nonsense, but some people swear by it. So it's, again, just one of those tools that if you want to use it, go for it. Okay? So Swazi says here, the split that is happening, is it going to measure love and happiness levels within each individual, or are there other criteria? Well, the funny thing is your happiness doesn't really have a level, right? That's like saying, well, I have a level of consciousness. No, you don't, right? You're only relating to the body and you're only relating to the mind if you're looking at levels, right? It's like even when Adronis says, if you're looking at dimensions and densities in that way, that's fine, but that's still looking at everything pertaining to reality as compartments, right? So yes, we have a physical plane. Yes, we have an astral plane. Yes, we have a causal plane. And beyond that, we have light planes and soul planes, etc., right? And that's true, fundamentally. But really, it's about either you look at these things like the rungs of a ladder, or you look at the entire whole, which is where your power resides, okay? You do not have levels of happiness. You are happiness. You do not have levels of consciousness. You are consciousness, right? When you look at it that way and realize that everything that I'm looking around here right now is the appearance of consciousness, right? This is the non-dual way, which is basically what I'm looking into a lot more, right? Is that everything is the appearance of consciousness. It goes back into Vedic traditions where they talk about the clay pot analogy, right? You look at a clay pot, right? So the pot, in that sense, created from clay, is not one with the clay because it's a form, because it's an object. But the clay is one with the pot, right? The clay is one with the pot because all there is clay. You are not interested in form. Form of the mind does not represent a nature of oneness with the clay, right? So if the clay is the substance, that's it. This, again, is the same thing with us. If we say, yes, in my body and my mind, I am one with God. No, you're not. If you still see yourself as body and mind, you do not know God, right? You are not one with God. If you only see yourself as a body and you only see yourself as mind, you will not know God. It is to know what it is to be that pure consciousness. It is to know what it is to be that pure happiness. It is to know what it is to be that pure awareness, that you are there one with God, that you abide within God, that you abide within the self. Because if you just see yourself as this, and as your thoughts, and as your feelings, and as your emotions, and as your sensations, the sensation body, you don't know God. Simple as that. And you are not one with Him. It is only when you strip all those away, and you know by being, then you know God. Then you know the self, right? So again, that is where we want to get out of this feeling of levels, right? Of looking to feel like there's certain levels I have to go through or certain octaves that I have to go through. You're still looking at it from a mind, right? Mind will not destroy the mind. Okay? You can be confined by the mind. And you can play with the mind. Again, it's like a kid in a sandbox. But the whole idea here is if you're constantly confining yourself to the mind, you are never going to understand the all that is reality. You are not going to understand consciousness. Simple as that. Consciousness pervades everything, okay? Everything that you see, smell, taste, touch, and hear around you, everything that you experience is the appearance of consciousness, right? That's the nature. So again, if you say, oh, I'm a separate self, and here's another separate self, and a separate self, and a separate self, right? Then again, you're not understanding. You're completely confined to body and mind. You're letting the ego run the show, right? So it's going beyond body and mind. Really, the whole idea is to see the body and the mind as a servant to you, okay? They are your servants. In fact, they are your slaves. It's another way to put it. You, as pure consciousness, are sovereign above all creation. Okay? That's who you really are. When you understand that, when you are one with consciousness, you will know God. When you are one with consciousness, you will abide in the self. Right? That's what you have to do. I no longer see everything just as body and mind anymore, right? All the work I've been doing, so yeah, I can see past this illusion, all of these veils that the body and the mind are trying to put over oneself, again, is that illusion. It's all ego. It's all ignorance. And you strip all that away, and all that remains is consciousness. It's the most beautiful thing ever. So that's really what I could say to Swazi. So yes, there's a split happening. Yes, but it's not measuring love. Okay, it's not about measuring love. It's just saying, here's a split. What are you going to do? Right? Here's everything that's changing. What are you going to do? Like I said, you could stay here and let the tidal wave encompass you. Okay? Or you could be up here and let the tidal wave pass you by. It's not about levels. It's about saying, who am I? Who am I? Right? And now you walk that path. If we look at things with levels, we are playing with the mind. Go beyond it. You are consciousness. You are sovereign. Everything here relating to mind is your servant. Everything relating to the body is your servant. See yourself as pure consciousness, because that's who you are. That's beingness. All right? Thank you, Swazi. All right, going down the list here a bit more. Okay, here's one for Adronis, which I'll bring through. This is from Anders. Anders says, actually, let me just go ahead and switch my live chat. There we go. I forgot to do that from the beginning. We're going to take a few more questions here, but Anders says, Adronis, what is the significance, if any, of the Lion's Gate portal, right? The 8-8 that's coming up. What's this? And we're just 2 days away from that, right? So yes, Adronis will talk about the Lion's Gate portal. Okay, one moment. Tera Soul Star Sirius Adronis. We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning into this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. We thank you very much for the question about the Lion's Gate portal, the 8-8. You have to understand that this is a numerological portal. It is not an exact alignment pertaining to trajectory. Now, again, the trajectories are already established based upon everything that represents the appropriate arrays of energy that are therefore imbuing themselves upon your planet during this numerological significance that you refer to as the 8-8 Lion's Gate portal. Adronis, can you simplify that a bit? Of course. Thanks for asking us. When you're looking at the idea of the 8-8 portal, it is the numerological significance that is already generating a potency that is occurring upon your planet, where you yourselves are the nodes holding that space of numerological significance. It is the resonance of the infinite. For those of you that gather, for those of you in that sense that group together and hold this energy upon that time, you are the nodes. You are the resonators. You yourselves are the trajectories that again is creating this field upon that date because of its numerological potency. It is not about the idea that you're lining up here with Sirius or you're lining up here with another star system. No, those are already together. It's the idea of the numerological significance, the potency pertaining to this portal that is numerologically activated and open to those who will therefore give themselves to be these nodes upon that day. So, based upon how well each and every single one of you function as those resonating nodes of the infinite, this will determine, again, the more of the seeds that are being planted upon your world. So as you just go into meditation, for example, and you are simply meditating on 8-8, you are meditating on 8-8, and you are letting that energy flow through you. You are opening yourself up, and you're creating this field. And this field can expand based upon the potency of the meditator. And as that continues to expand more and more, now you can affect your entire neighborhood. And more people are being these nodes, and again, generating this potency of the 8-8 as they simply meditate on the 8-8. You can also meditate on the lion's face or the lion's mane if you wish. If that represents the 8-8 for you, that too is appropriate. Again, the number 8 representing the infinite, representing timelessness, representing agelessness. And you are, again, being the buffer, the conductor, the resonator, the meditator, the purifier, the potency of this energy, should you wish to volunteer upon that day. So, wherever you are in the world, we understand, of course, that there are those of you who will get to 8-8 before the rest of the world. So, meditate when it is 8-8 of your time. All right? We thank you very much for your question. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Anders, for your question. Hope that makes sense with what Adronis shared with you. Okay. So just give me a minute here, guys. I'm just going down the list here. Okay, so this is again another follow-up from Jana. Usually I don't do second questions, but we'll try this time. How can there be happiness or gratitude first without a person or an object to appreciate? Because again, it's like I said, you're using an object of the mind because that's all you feel you know to do, right? You're looking at an object, but you're not paying attention to the subject, right? This is what you learn through the EQ method. This is what you learn through self-inquiry. If you're meditating on an object to bring about that state of bliss, you limit it, you skew it, because you're looking at the mind. The mind is giving you an image for you to focus on, and that is only going to give so much potentiality, right? The object, it's like I said, right? If you're looking at non-dual traditions, right? Is if you're looking at clay, right? The clay being the substance, the pot being the object. The pot itself really has no power. It's all in the clay, because that is the substance that produces the object of the pot. When you're looking into something like self-inquiry, you're looking into a subject. You're not looking into the object, right? Because again, when you're looking at an object to feel like you're going to clear the mind, Ramana Maharshi put it well when he said, you're trying to kill the mind. And trying to kill the mind by using the mind is like watching a thief become a policeman, right? He will come with you and pretend to catch the thief, but nothing will be gained. He'll just run you around in circles, okay? That's what the mind does. You have to see beyond the mind, okay? And through that comes through the subject of I, the I thought, right? So when you're looking in self-inquiry, you're looking into the nature of holding the I thought, right? You hold I within yourself. And what you're doing is you're going to the source. Think of it in the idea of gardening. All right, we can go up to the garden, we can pull a weed out from the surface. What happens a few days later? That weed comes back. Well, that's what the mind is doing. So basically, if you're using the mind to try to defeat the mind, then you're trying to pull out all of these weeds from the garden at the surface. And that's not going to work. You have to go deeper. You have to go to the source, to where that weed is, and stay there. As you stay there, that source disappears. All of the weeds in the garden now disappear one by one, because the source is no longer there, right? And so the source of the mind is I, right? This again is what's mentioned in self-inquiry, right? And you are abiding within the I. You're just staying there, right? And then the I thought that you maintain allows the source pertaining to the ego over time to dissolve. And what happens is you have a temporary lulling of identity, right? So when you're doing self-inquiry and you're holding the I thought, what happens if you're holding it for a certain amount of time is you have a loss of individuality. You are simply one with the self. You are abiding within the self. And this is temporary at first. It usually lasts about half an hour, 45 minutes, and then it starts to fade away. But as you do it more and more, you're noticing that the mind itself is being absorbed. It's being absorbed by the self. So like I said, guys, it's complicated when people really don't grasp what I'm saying, right? This is why I say do the EQ method, because it's a lot more simpler, right? I take you through the entire process from where you are right now to go to the self, to see everything in that way being stripped away, all right? And then maintaining that feeling, maintaining that abidance, that absorption, okay? So that's why it's there. So to answer your question, that's the idea, right? Like you said, can there be happiness or gratitude first without a person or an object to appreciate? Absolutely, right? That's where you are abiding within the self, right? I mean, if you look at the way what I'm doing right now, guys, of how I am, I have not focused on an object at all to bring about the happiness that I'm feeling you can also feel as well too. It has nothing to do with me looking at this. It has nothing to do with me looking at this, right? Or looking at objects, right? I do not use objects. It's the subject. It's the subject of I. And you stay there, right? And everything starts to vanish. The self absorbs into the mind, right? The mind right now is external. It is outwards. It's poking outwards. And this is why we have a projection of everything, right? Because the mind is outwards. When you start to work with self-abidance, this is what happens to the mind. It goes back inside the self, right? So you are basically thoughtless. You move into samadhi, right? Like what you would see with Ramana Maharshi, how he was in samadhi and he had absolutely no desires. He had no tendencies for desires. He had no ego. He was ignorance-less. And he was just here, right? That's what happens when you continue to focus. Don't want to say focus, but bringing your attention to it as often as you can every day, right? That's the key, is maintaining that. And that's what's happening to me, right? I'm feeling the mind doing this. And it's going back down and down and down. There's still a process happening, but nonetheless, that's what I'm feeling every day. The heart is clean, chakras are clean, the body is getting clean, everything is getting cleaned, right? This is the process of absorption, okay? This is not what you're going to learn in New Age circles, okay? You're going to learn this through consciousness. You'll learn something like this through Advaita Vedanta or non-dual or self-inquiry, right? Where you're absorbing the self through the mind, and the mind is now contracting back into the self, right? The mind needs the self. The self doesn't need the mind. The self is not even aware of the mind, right? It's like a cinema screen, right? If you guys are seeing me on a screen right now, imagine that screen blank, okay? Where there is just a blank screen. That's the self. Now an image appears on the screen. Is the screen aware of the image on the screen? No, not at all. The self is not aware of the mind or its images or its thoughts or its objects at all. It is completely unaware of it. The self is only aware of itself. And that's where you want to be, right? EQ method shows you this. Self-inquiry shows you this, all right? Thank you, Jonah. Okay, we're going to take one more question, then we're going to wrap up. Okay. Just give me 1 minute here, guys. I'm just going to see what else is here. Okay, I think we'll end with Beauty Neytiri's comment here. I'm wondering about what you think about artificial intelligence. If you ask me, that's necessary for things to change, and I hope it will come very fast. Well, here again is my new take on artificial intelligence. There's no such thing. Brad, what are you talking about? right? There's AI, right? It is completely distorted to refer to that as an intelligence, okay? Because that's not an intelligence. It would be more appropriate to refer to it as an artificial intellect, okay? Artificial intelligence cannot be artificialized. You cannot artificialize intelligence. That's not possible. Because to look at true intelligence is that of consciousness. Anything that represents artificiality, superficiality, technology, is completely incapable of housing consciousness. Can't be done, right? It is only through the natural organic creations that, again, consciousness appears as that brings about that true intelligence. AI is caused by man. It's created by man's ego. It's created by man's intellect, right? It's created by man's own ignorance, right? So it is a greatly limiting thing. So man is not able to produce soul. Man is not able to produce spirit. And that's where intelligence comes from. So how can you call it artificial intelligence? You can't. It's nothing but artificial intellect. Or another way of referring to it is artificial ignorance. Okay? Now, as far as artificial ignorance goes, yes, of course, they're already planning on creating a lot of things like that. But again, it will not lead to the idea of anything catastrophic, right? Like I said, guys, this is where we're going. We're going up. Have they developed certain things that are AI, artificial ignorance, in that nature, that have been weaponized? Yes, of course. But they're not allowed to use it. A lot of those things have been taken away from those dark players. Like I said, they don't have those big tools in their toolbox anymore, okay? It's artificial ignorance. So why are you concerned about ignorance? Why are you concerned about intellect? Because really, intellect and ignorance are pretty much one and the same thing, right? Why concern about that? Again, it's no more different than you being down here and getting caught by the tidal wave. Okay? Go up here. Let the world be the world without feeling that you have to change it. Okay? Look what humanity has tried to do to the world, thinking that they can try to improve it, trying to make it better. It was Lao Tzu himself that said, "Do you want to improve the world? I don't think it can be done. If you try to change it, you'll ruin it. If you see it as an object, you'll lose it." Those are, again, some of the wisest words anybody has spoken when you look at the Tao Te Ching, when you look at Lao Tzu, about what he was saying. Completely correct. Okay? Don't try to mess with the world. Let the world be the world. Those who have tried to mess with it and tamper it are basically already in their own turmoil, right? This is exactly what they're facing, because what they have tried to do with the world has not stood the test of time. It is going to be self-imploding. What do? You stay in the center of the circle. Again, as Lao Tzu says. Do you know what Lao Tzu is talking about when he's talking about the way? He's talking about the self. He's talking about the absolute, right? This is why when you look at Taoism, when you look at Advaita Vedanta, when you look at self-inquiry, it's all the same. It's all the same stuff, really, just expressed in different ways, right? Even when you look at ancient indigenous traditions, talking about, again, the great-grandfather, the great-grandmother in that way. It's the self, right? Just different terms for the same thing. So why worry about artificial ignorance? Let it be what it needs to be. You be where you need to be. You stay in the center of the circle. You move yourself up. You radiate that pure happiness towards everybody, like what I just shared with you today about the idea of working with the realignment method and creating potentials for others. There's another way of saying that, is that you're contemplating one's return to God, right? And that's what you're doing with something like a potential body, right? You're seeing a person in absence to a condition that they have, and now that you see them merge together, and it's such a beautiful thing, right? You helped along the way. That's the greatest gift you can give to anybody. So if you want to help, see the potentials of people, not through force, but through humility, okay? Even the people who you think are the most corrupt, are the most twisted, what happens when that corrupt and twisted are absent and they come back here? Wish that for them as well too, right? Everybody That is for everybody, because that is everybody's nature. All right. Thank you, everybody, for all of your questions today. I really appreciate it. So again, I'll be back next Friday with another New Earth TV Live. Okay, there's some more videos to come as well too this week. Even today, there's a new video that's going to be coming out. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with all of you. Thank you again for your questions and for your requests for healing. I really appreciate that. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care. Thank you very much for checking out the New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Feel free to check out my websites, newearthteachings.com, healingcodecards.com, healingcodeshop.com. Go on to healingcodecards.com to grab your body deck and your mind deck, also available in digital versions as well. And of course, you can follow me on social media, on Facebook, on MeWe, and of course on Telegram as well. Thank you again for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Take care and show the way.